may be homely in your neighborhood.
Be an actor, see Mr. Factor, you make your kisser look good.
Hello, Hollywood, and welcome to today's Walk of Fame ceremony. A special shout out to our fans watching the live video stream, courtesy of our media partner, Variety. I'm LaRon Gubler, President and CEO of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, which is presenting today's program. Today, television producer Ken Corday will receive the 2,612th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Let me tell you just a little bit about Ken, and you can cheer for whatever you like. Ken Corday was a teenager in 1965. He was. And at that time, his parents, Ted and Betty Corday, launched Days of Our Lives. A year after the show's inception, his father passed away unexpectedly, leaving Betty to carry on the show while teaching Ken everything he would need to know to continue his family's legacy. The skills he learned from his mother led to his 37-year tenure with Days of Our Lives. Now, this hands-on training allowed him to make television history while touching the hearts of millions of fans for generations worldwide. Ken received his Bachelor of Arts in Music from the University of California, Santa Cruz, as well as a Master's in Music from San Jose State University. He served as Days of Our Lives music composer for nearly 10 years before taking on the role of assistant producer in 1980 and then producer in 1981. Ken became the executive producer in May of 1985 and is responsible for catapulting the show to the powerful pop culture hit that it is today. Ken has received multiple, and yes, cheer for that. Ken has received multiple Daytime Emmy nominations and wins for Outstanding Drama Series as the show's executive producer over the years, nabbing the prize most recently in 2013 and 2015. He has also won 4 Daytime Emmys, most recently in 2016 and this year, for music direction and composition in a drama series. Additionally, Ken has been honored with 4 People's Choice Awards, 2 TV Guide Awards, and 12 Soap Opera Digest Awards. How about that? As Hollywood's longest-running television producer, Ken knows the compelling stories and dynamic characters, and that those are what audiences are hungry for. And after more than 13,000 episodes and half a century on NBC, he has definitely cracked the code to success in this genre. His passion for the show is reflected in the millions of viewers worldwide who tune in every day to watch the Hortons, Bradys, DeMaras, and who have made Days of Our Lives a part of their family. In addition to continuing the family's television legacy, Ken is an avid philanthropist and a believer in the importance of giving back. He is dedicated to changing children's lives by providing hope and offering hands-on support for medical missions around the globe. You can cheer for that. After years of supporting Operation Smile, Ken was honored with their John Connor Humanitarian Award at the charity's annual gala in 2014. In addition, Ken and wife Sherry are actively involved in helping to sustain the philanthropic efforts of a number of worthy causes, including the Los Angeles Children's Hospital right here in Hollywood, the LA Mission, the George Lopez Foundation, the National Kidney Foundation, the SAG-AFTRA Foundation, the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission, the Matthew Shepard Foundation, and the Race to Erase MS. And so, on that note, please help me welcome to the stage our honoree, Ken Corday. Now, you'll all get to hear from Ken in just a few minutes, but we have a special guest who's going to say just a few additional words about Ken. He really needs no introduction, but let me just tell you, he received his star on the Walk of Fame back in 1995. I was there for it, as well as Anna Martinez, our producer, and his star is in front of the Roosevelt Hotel. So please welcome actor Andy Garcia.
Thank you very much. I might repeat some of these things, but either way, thanks for everybody to come up. This is a well-deserved star. Kenny is a very special person in our industry, and he deserves more than one star on this Walk of Fame. I just want to read a couple things here that I prepared. It is my privilege, as I said, to be here today to honor my good friend Ken Corday. We all know his extraordinary career as Hollywood's longest-running television producer and multiple Emmy winner, both as the show's producer and also as the composer of all the show's music. But I would like to take a moment to speak about my friend. I have known Kenny Corday for close to 30 years. And I can say, although Ken is extremely excited and honored to be here today, he is a man who goes about his business, his art, with a quiet diligence, a workman's approach, and a commitment to his family's legacy with excellence and pride. He is also an avid sportsman who loves fishing and has given him the opportunity to land several blue marlin over 1,000 pounds. And now that deserves an applause. And those pictures weren't Photoshop, I guarantee you. All of these accomplishments that we have heard today pale in comparison to what truly measures a man, which is how he does conduct one's life as a husband, a father, and a friend. Ken has exemplified these qualities to me and to all who know him to the highest order. He does this without fanfare, always sensitive to others' needs. Along with his wife, the beautiful Sherry Corday, they are on the front line. They are always on the front line with their generous support whenever a good cause presents itself. And as a father to Amanda, Kimmy, and Teddy, his attention, love, and encouragement is constant and nurturing. Yes, sir. And as a friend, you know that we all know that he always has your back, and our memories together are truly cherished. Kenny Corday is a good soul, a good egg, as they say. Just the other day, we were fishing at Lake Casitas in Ojai, where we caught many largemouth bass, but Kenny himself caught the same bass several times and gently released it. Perhaps even the bass know they are going to get, if they're going to get caught, best to get caught by Kennedy. It was a quiet love affair. They don't call them largemouth bass for nothing. So, Cezanne, sorry. We're here every Thursday. Kenny, I'm proud of you. I'm happy that your family is here to share this beautiful acknowledgement. And my family and I are lucky to have you as a friend. Onward, my dear friend. There are many fish to catch and much music to write. Continue the great legacy of your show. You have accomplished your dreams, but one must continue to dream. I will see you on the first tee. My deepest appreciation, friendship, and admiration.
Thank you, Andy Garcia. I have a few introductions I'd like to make at this time. First, we want to acknowledge the chairman of the board of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. He is a Hollywood native. He also owns the Hollywood Hotel, Chateau Celeste, and the Hollywood Distillery. Please acknowledge Jeff Zaranam. We also have with us the chair of our Walk of Fame committee, who selects the stars who get honored on the Walk of Fame. He himself is a Walk of Famer. Please acknowledge Vin DeBona. And we also have a few of the cast members from Days of Our Lives. And so I'm going to acknowledge you. First, we'd like to acknowledge a lady who received her star just last year, Deidre Hall. In addition, we have Billy Flynn, Lauren Koslow, Marcy Miller, Teo Pengalis, Bill and Susan Hayes, James Reynolds, Suzanne Rogers, Sal Stowers, Christian Alfonso, Brian Datillo, Wally Kurth, and Nadia Bjorlin. So Ken, I'm assuming they're not taping today, right? No.
We're working.
All right. After the Walk of Fame ceremony. In addition, let me acknowledge actress Lizzie Olsen, who's with us here. Let me also just say, Ken, it's time for you to speak, but I understand you were really good friends with Johnny Grant, who was our honorary mayor for many years here in Hollywood. So by way of final introduction, let me just say this is in honor of Johnny Grant's memory. This is Ken Corday Day in Hollywood.
Wowee. Thank you all for coming. It's just so touching to see all my friends and family here. And I don't write speeches, you know that. I accept awards and get off stage because they roll the crawl and you've got 15 seconds and you're out. But today I'll take a little more time to acknowledge the people that made it possible for me to be here today. I know I have to do this to camera, so I will stop turning around. Thanks to my good friend Andy Garcia for that introduction. That was truly kind. And it's true about the largemouth bass. They know. Thanks to the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce for making this possible, to Vin and to Eric DeBona, who shepherded this through, to Leon Grubler and Anna. The list goes on, but the Chamber of Commerce, I mean, I'm standing here today in the midst of Hollywood fame. The little television producer who could is standing up here with so many celebrities up and down this street. It's just, it takes my breath away to be here, and I thank the Chamber of Commerce for making this possible. I hold in my hand the envelope for episode 13,226. That's all. I read this morning, actually last night and again this morning. I had no notes. The show is working today, so we will make this quick. I know I have 2 minutes to speak, and I'll probably take about 2.5 minutes today. In any situation, as a writer knows, as a detective knows, there are the 6 questions you ask, which are what, how, when, where, who, and most importantly, why. We know what is happening here today. There is a star in my name, which is just overwhelming, and I won't dwell on that. That's what we're here for. How it happened, I have to really acknowledge the 3 people that made this possible today. My wife Sherry and Greg Ming, our co-executive producer, who came to me and said, "We think you should have a star," and I thought they were joking. And Maya said, "You better turn on the television and see, because they're announcing that you're getting a star in 2017. So it was really Greg's work and Sherry's work and Maya's work that made this possible to vault me into this position today. But now we go to when. When did this all start, and why am I here? And I would not be here today were it not for Ted and Betty Corday, my mother and father. I'll just take a moment to talk about them because this is really a star I share with them. This should have been, had they lived 30 more years for my mother and 52 more years for my father, they would have had their right place on this street. But as you heard, my father did not see the first anniversary of Days of Our Lives, but he was quite the pioneer. He would direct in New York The Guiding Light on radio every morning at 11:15 live to the nation, then walk the cast up the street to CBS television studio in New York and direct the show again live to the nation on television. This happened from 1952 to 1958 when he and Erna Phillips, the brilliant writer Erna Phillips, started As the World Turns. And my father directed every episode of As the World Turns from the time it went on the air as a 30-minute show. He had an incredible, intrepid quality. My father was a pioneer in theater and in radio and then in television. And he had the nerve and the guts to say to us, we're moving to the West Coast and we're going to put a soap on in Burbank, California. And I thought, why do we have to move so far to put a soap on? All the soaps are in New York. No, we're going to do one in California, and it's going to be in color, and it's going to be a half hour. And I said, okay, let's see what happens. And the rest was left to my mother's care. Betty Corday was quite the exceptional woman at a time when in the 60s and 70s, women executives were just not heard of in the industry. And NBC said to her at my father's passing, well, Betty, who's going to run the show? And she said, well, I'll run the show. And they said, well, what do you know about running a television show? She said, well, it's simple. It's like running a household. I get $100 a week to run the household. If I can save $10 every week, in 10 weeks we can have a party. And they said, okay, well, we'll give it a try. We'll put you on 13-week cycles and see how that works. This was in 1966 after my father's passing. I remember she told me 10 years later, in 1976, when the show really had gained muscle and gone to an hour, she was in an elevator with that same executive at NBC who was effusive about the success of Days of Our Lives. It was then on the cover of Time magazine, I believe, with our lovely Susan Hayes and Bill Hayes as vaulting it into that position. And this network executive, remains nameless, said to my mother, well, the show's doing really well, and she didn't miss a beat, as she never did, and said, am I still on 13-week cycles? That's supposed to be funny. She never looked back. She wooed me into coming into the show as a composer, and I thought, well, I'm going to be a teacher and composer, and that's it. I'm going to stay in Northern California and teach because I love college and I love writing music. And I came to Los Angeles in 1977, 78 to see how the music was used on Days of Our Lives. And my eyes were wide open as a little pup because I knew nothing about the business of Days of Our Lives or of daytime TV. I just had been at the table with my mother since my father's passing in her sounding board. And I walked in and I said, well, I should probably date the music director on the show because I think that might be a good idea. We never went out to dinner, but we did go to lunch, and she said, you know, why don't you write more music for the show? Actually, why don't you write all the music for the show? And I said, okay, and ended up in London that year and again 2 years later. And my mother said, you know, Ken, there's more to this than the music. And I was flabbergasted. I said, but I'm fine doing the music. This is my love and passion. She said, but it's in your genes to be more than a composer, more than a musician. Why don't you come down for the summer and answer fan mail and get coffee for the producers and watch dress rehearsal and just see what it's about, which I did. And that golden door opened for me in 1979, 1980, And that was 37 years ago. And as the Chamber of Commerce noted, I guess I'm the longest running producer in television in Hollywood. Thank you. The simple reason for that success is because I never fired myself. That's true. I have a few thank yous to make, just a few, and then I'll tell you a story and we'll go have lunch and be done with it. First, I have to thank NBC Television for being our great supporter for 52 years and keeping us on the air and keeping millions and millions of viewers able to see this show on a national basis. So thanks to NBC. Were it not for the peacock and its many, many incarnations, there would be no Days of Our Lives today. I thank Bob Greenblatt, who can't be here. He's in New York this week, hopefully selling Days of Our Lives for another year or two, and Jennifer Salke, both of whom are the executive and president of NBC Television. Bruce Evans is also in New York. He is the senior programmer that I have the good fortune of working with every week, and Bruce has been a stalwart ally for the show and has really been our mainstay at NBC. And were he here today, I'd give him a really big hug and thank him for supporting us through some slippery slopes, especially doing the first gay marriage in daytime television and coming out for that. Is Jennifer Sinclair here? Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer represents NBC, our programmer, Jennifer Sinclair. My father, when he sold the show, sold it to a famous actor named Jackie Cooper, who is head of then Columbia Pictures Television, which is now Sony Pictures Television. And Jackie Cooper said, Ted, you know, you might want to get some good stars for this show because I don't know how long it's going to be on the air. My father approached MacDonald Carey and Francis Reed, who he knew from theater and from movies, and he said to Mac Carey, he said, Mac, would you be interested in doing Days of Our Lives? And Mac said, well, you know, Ted, I have a career. And my father said, well, you know, the show's probably only going to make it, 6 months or a year, so come on aboard. And Mac was with us, I believe, until 1999. But Mac had a great run on the show, so did Francis. And were it not for Columbia Television, we would not be here today, as well as distributed in 22 markets worldwide. I have to thank the people that have made that possible for the last 10, 15 years. I don't know if Steve Moscow is here today. He's not, but Steve Moscow was president of Sony Pictures for the last 15 years and really was the attaboy, go get him Ken guy in my corner. He's a big man, he kind of looks like Tarzan, and he is, in the industry, a heroic figure for me and for this show. So if the actors are getting checks from Hermosa Beach or from Formosa or from Ceylon, it's because of Steve Moscow and Sony Pictures. Also thanks to Sheridan Cleary and Steve Kent. I hope you're here. Hi, Sheridan. You're only as good as your team. I've been very fortunate for a long time to have an amazing team of people that I get to work with. It's not that I have to go to work every day. I want to go to work every day. I get to go to work every day. It's a blessing. John Fogerty, were he here today, is not your fortunate son, as he lets us all know in his famous song. I am the fortunate son. And it is only because of the people I've been able to surround myself with that I'm able to stand here today. And I have to acknowledge our two co-executive producers who are just fantastic and have been with me. Greg Ming, who's been with me, I don't know, 30 years, Greg? 27. Greg Ming, our co-executive producer and my good friend. That's the wind telling me to get off. Also, Albert Alar, our other co-executive producer, who is on stage right now, working with our diligent cast and crew, because the show must go on. The list is endless. I also have to say a special personal thanks to Barry Felsen, who's been my attorney for many, many years, and who protects me from all the other liars. That's how they say it in Oklahoma, liars, not lawyers. I'm not going to get lost here. Also, a special thanks to Mike Russell, who is just a dear, dear man and has been in my corner for also a very long time. Thank you, Mike. To our cast, our most beautiful, bejeweled cast, who sit here today and make our pictures so wonderful. We have the best cast in daytime television, bar none. I know, I'm getting the wrap it up, but I really want to thank the cast for being here. I want to thank the crew who has been so stalwart for many years, our directors, our writers, our new head writer, Ron Carlovati, who has come all the way from New York to see this event. Thank you, Ron. My mentors, besides my mother and father, were the great Wes Kenny, who produced the show from its beginning, the great Al Rabin, who taught me life lessons, and my partner in crime in the early 80s when the show was made young again, Shelley Curtis is here. Thank you, Shelley. But soap operas, besides sex and suffering, are about family. We asked the construction guys to hold it up, but they also have to get on with their work. But I will talk about my family now, because in the end, you're really only about your family. My day's family is here. My close family is here. I'd like to thank my dear cousin, Dr. Stephen Corday, for coming from his busy practice to be here. Thank you, Steve. If you have a broken heart, go see Steve Corday. He will fix your broken heart. He's a great cardiologist. And my other cousin, Lindsay Cosberg, is here giggling at that very, very worn joke. Thank you, Lindsay. I'm a lucky guy, just darn lucky. I married the best woman in the world 31 years ago. And she's just been through it all. She's put up with my crap, and she's put up with the golden times. And Sherry, I love you. You're just the greatest in the world. And she's given us 3 beautiful children. My oldest daughter, Amanda, who now is a New Yorker. I love you, Amanda. My youngest daughter, Kimberly Jane, my cookie. I love you, Kimmy. And my son, my mulligan, my 50-year-old birthday present. What a surprise that was. Young John Theodore Corday is here. You have to close with a story, so I will tell a little story and then be on my way, which I've been promising to do for the last 10 minutes. I thank God for being here. I thank God for loving us and keeping us going. Whatever that great spirit is that reigns supreme in stages 2 and 4 shines on us every day. There are angels on those stages, past stars who have been there that watch over us, my mother and father. And were it not for these angels, I don't know if Days of Our Lives would still be here. They shine on us every day. My wife and I were here last Wednesday as they poured the star, and it was quite an interesting experience. And of course, I have to thank Vince and Hugo, who actually got their hands dirty and put the star in the walk. As they're finishing, they say to me and Sherry, well, you have anything you want to bury in the star? Good Lord, what am I going to bury under the star? I said, well, did you have a coin or something like that? And I said, no, I don't have anything with me. And Sherry said, oh, you know, when we walked in 2 hours ago, I saw 2 pennies on the bench right over here. I went, okay. She said, let's go see if they're there. So we walked over to the bench, and they're sitting there, like Ted and Betty Corday, were 2 brand new sparkling pennies, one from 2017 and one from 1992. And she said to me, you know, Ken, they're pennies from heaven. Because every time it rains pennies from heaven, and you know the rest of that song. So we took these 2 new pennies and brought them over here and put them underneath that star. And my mother and father will forever have a place, not only in my heart and in all of our hearts, but now as part of this walk of fame. They blessed me. They truly blessed me with this gift. And it just keeps on giving and giving and giving. And I'm just so grateful today to be here. And I thank you all for coming. I thank you for listening. And I wish us all another 52 years, God willing.
Okay, let's unveil that star.
Gentlemen, if you could please right here. Down in front, gentlemen, right down here. Right, Jim. Straight ahead, Ken and Andy, right down here.
Very quickly, guys, please.
Go ahead. And Ken, straight ahead with the desk. Ken, straight ahead down low, right here, please. Everybody right down low, please. Right in front down low.
Oh, there you go. Right here. Nice, right here. Right there. Guys, still ahead on your left.
Ken on your left.
Can I get everybody to this way right here?
And everybody down low, one side. Right here, please. And when it presents itself, right here, please. Again, everybody here, one more time, everybody straight ahead right here, please. There you go. There's the dream team right there.
Kiss again. Give her a kiss, Ben. Kiss her. Yeah, kiss her.
That might be the best tribute to a wife of the walk of fame.
Yeah, kiss her again.
Folks, everybody straight ahead first. Everybody straight ahead down low, please. Right over here down low. Okay, everybody straight ahead first. Yeah, get them off. Okay, everybody straight ahead. Let's go. Start here. Everybody slowly see it right down low. Everybody else right down low.
And on the right, everybody, please. Here you go. John, Jake, Nadia, go on the other side. What a great room. Wait. Hey. Get ahead, everybody. Get ahead. Watch him do something crazy. Go. Nadia.